My name is Fringe, which is the pseudonym I use when I create my art. I was born in 1976 in Johannesburg, and I was schooled in the South African province of KwaZulu-Natal, after which I went to Cape Town to study advertising. After applying my trade with various agencies in 2003, I decided to focus on the creation of contemporary art. In 2015, I went to New York, where I began to observe an alternate train of thought. And there I gained an understanding of the importance of being able to communicate through street art. So I came back to South Africa about a year later and started to create in the mixed media. While I was overseas, I found it really amusing to see that so many of the women working in the gallery system and in the visual arts are these kind of weird fringes. But as I look deeper into the scene, I also noticed that the local art market, that's the South African art market, seems to sit on the fringe of the mainstream art world, except for a handful of conspicuously famous individuals. So, calling myself Fringe, I have wanted my work to be a constant reminder of a belief that we all once shared, as that would be a global commitment to love, hope, and the overcoming of fear. So, working with icons, I want the work to be sort of like a constant reminder of these contradictions of recognizable and spatial entities that come together through controlled and uncontrolled forces, that there's something very precise in our visual communication, but also something very loose at the same time. To remain anonymous really is to have no ego in this ego-driven art world. I feel that the message, for the most part, is chastised because of the messenger. So for me, the beauty of being able to combine so many different elements that coalesce without prejudice allows for an unfiltered honesty in the work and in the message that I'm portraying. These are my embedded motifs. So as much as I have a clear idea of what I'm trying to say, I also want to point to the fact that there's something fortunate in being able to draw on cultural icons, huge and meaningful cultural icons like Gandhi, the Beatles, Marilyn Monroe, and through this I want to impart the fact that the work is very, very important to me. Well, nobody says that I don't want exposure. So as it stands right now, my work is influenced by graffiti and street art, but the works are not graffiti and they're not street art. Just as much as being, say, a big Star Wars fan doesn't mean that you're automatically a Jedi. So as much as I don't want to go after exposure, it doesn't mean that I don't believe that the artwork should not be presented. Otherwise, really, what is the point? Eventually, the message will find its place, whether it's on a wall or inside or outside of a building.